I am driving through the Australian outback, expecting nothing more than distance and heat, the kind that presses down but stays predictable. The road is empty, the eucalyptus forest standing still on both sides, leaves barely moving, the air too quiet for mid-afternoon. Then the light changes. The sky shifts from pale blue to a bruised orange in a matter of seconds, and the smell hits before the sound does. Burning eucalyptus oil, sharp and overwhelming, coating the back of my throat. Ash begins to fall, light at first, like gray snow drifting sideways. I slow instinctively. The horizon ahead is no longer visible. Smoke rises in thick black columns, swallowing the road, erasing depth and distance. The heat intensifies even with the windows closed, warping the air above the asphalt. That is when I see movement. Not fire yet, not flames. Something small, frantic, cutting across the roadside through tall, dry grass that is already beginning to smoke. A child, alone, running without direction. I stop the vehicle and step out into air that feels alive, pushing against my body with hot wind. The roar of the wildfire becomes unmistakable now, deep and constant, like something breathing too fast. Embers fly past my face, stinging my skin. The child disappears into the trees. I follow, my visibility collapsing with every step as smoke thickens. The ground crackles under my boots. Grass ignites behind me, not slowly, but all at once, fire racing along invisible lines. I find the child trapped between fallen eucalyptus trunks, their bark burning, their leaves exploding with flame. The trees form a cage, fire on every side, the circle already closing. The child is crouched low, arms over their head, surrounded by heat that distorts the world. There is no clear path in, no clear path out, and then something else moves through the smoke. Low, fast, powerful. A large kangaroo bursts into view, fur darkened by ash, chest heaving, eyes locked on the trapped child. It does not hesitate, it does not flee. It steps closer to the fire instead. The flames surge higher. Time collapses into minutes, and the fire is coming fast. The fire accelerates in a way that feels intentional, as if the land itself is being hunted. The wind shifts abruptly, and the flames respond instantly, leaning forward, stretching, devouring ground that was untouched seconds before. Heat slams into my body in heavy waves. Breathing becomes painful. Every inhale carries burning ash and smoke thick enough to scrape my lungs. The roar grows louder, deeper, closer, drowning out every other sound until the world is reduced to fire and pressure. The fallen eucalyptus trunks around the child begin to fail. Burning bark peels away in long, glowing strips, spiraling through the air and landing like lit fuses. One trunk shifts slightly, collapsing inward, shrinking the space even more. The child has nowhere to move. The fire does not hesitate. Grass ignites simultaneously in all directions, flames racing faster than running speed. Underground roots burn invisibly, sending sudden bursts of flame upward without warning. The ground itself becomes unreliable, smoking, cracking, alive. The kangaroo remains inside the danger zone, closer now to the fire than anything living should be. Its fur smolders at the edges, darkened by ash and heat. Its chest rises and falls rapidly, muscles locked tight, calculating distance and timing with instinct sharpened by survival. A new wall of flame surges through the eucalyptus trees behind them, jumping treetop to treetop in explosive bursts. Burning debris rains down, striking the ground hard enough to spark new fires instantly. The smoke thickens until shapes dissolve. Visibility collapses. Direction becomes meaningless. The fire closes the circle tighter, erasing every natural fire break with raw force. I realize the countdown is no longer theoretical. Minutes vanish. Seconds matter. The kangaroo lowers its body, angling itself toward the narrowest opening between the burning trunks. The space is barely large enough. The flames lick inward, claiming the air itself. The fire is almost there, and the next move must be perfect. I do not step forward. I cannot. The heat forms a wall I cannot cross, a physical force that pushes me back no matter how much I want to move. The fire owns the space now. Inside the burning circle, the kangaroo makes the decision before I can even think of one. It lunges, not away from the flames, but directly into the narrow opening between the fallen eucalyptus trunks. Its powerful hind legs drive forward with explosive force, striking the burning wood at the exact point where heat has weakened it most. The impact is violent. Burning bark shatters and collapses outward, not inward. Flames surge for a split second, then break apart as airflow changes suddenly. Smoke erupts upward instead of closing in. The opening widens. The kangaroo recoils instantly, repositioning despite scorched ground and falling embers. Its fur is singed, edges glowing briefly before ash smothers the heat. It does not retreat. It lines up again. The child flinches as the space shifts, trapped, but now exposed to a narrow corridor of moving air instead of suffocating heat. Oxygen rushes in uneven bursts, pushing smoke aside just enough to reveal the gap. The kangaroo strikes again. This time the trunk gives way completely. A burning section collapses outward, creating a clear path passage no wider than the kangaroo's body. Flames snap at the edges, trying to reclaim it, but the wind momentarily works against the fire. The kangaroo moves without hesitation. It enters the opening, places its body between the child and the flames, and kicks again, harder, lower, forcing the last obstruction aside. The path is open only for seconds. The fire surges to close it immediately. The kangaroo turns its body sideways, using its own mass as a shield, and delivers a final, precise kick that pushes the child clear of the burning cage and into open ground beyond the fallen trunks. The child stumbles free. The fire screams in response, but the trap is broken, and the rescue has begun. The fire reacts instantly to the escape. The wind shifts again, stronger now, dragging the flames sideways and pulling them straight through the broken opening. What was a passage becomes a funnel of heat and smoke. The kangaroo is still inside. The fallen trunks collapse further, burning ends crashing together as fire surges upward in a violent burst. Embers explode outward, surrounding the kangaroo in a storm of sparks. The ground beneath it glows, roots burning unseen, threatening to give way. The child stumbles farther from the enclosure, coughing, half blinded by smoke, while the heat chases close enough to scorch the air behind them. There is no time to stop, no time to look back. The kangaroo pivots sharply, timing its movement between surges of flame. Its fur smolders, ash clinging to its sides, but its posture remains powerful, controlled. Launches forward through the collapsing opening just as a section of burning trunk crashes down where it stood seconds earlier. Fire slams into the space behind it, sealing the enclosure in a wall of flame. The kangaroo clears the gap and lands hard on open ground, momentum carrying it away from the immediate fire front. Flames snap at its tail, heat rippling violently across its body, but it keeps moving. The wildfire roars louder than anything I have ever heard. Trees ignite in rapid succession, crowns exploding as eucalyptus oil feeds the inferno. The sky darkens further, nearly black, embers falling so thick they blur vision. The child reaches the edge of the clearing near the road, collapsing forward as the heat finally eases by a fraction. I grab the child and pull them down, shielding them from embers as fire races past behind us. The kangaroo slows only when it reaches the same open ground, chest heaving, sides scorched, but alive. The flames crash together where we were moments before, erasing the last trace of the trap. Everything burns, everything moves, and for a single suspended moment, we are still alive inside the chaos. The fire moves on. It does not stop, but it shifts, pulled forward by wind and fuel deeper into the forest, leaving behind a corridor of unbearable heat that slowly becomes survivable. The roar fades from a scream to a distant thunder. I keep the child pressed low until the embers thin and the air becomes barely breathable again. Ash coats everything, skin, clothing, the road itself, but the flames no longer close in. The kangaroo stands a short distance away on the scorched ground, chest rising and falling heavily. Its fur is burned in places, darkened and uneven, but its posture is steady. It is no longer in flight. It is no longer fighting. It watches us. For a long moment, nothing moves except smoke. The sky begins to lighten just slightly, orange giving way to a dirty gray as the fire front passes. Trees behind us are reduced to silhouettes, still burning but no longer advancing. The child shifts, alive, breathing, clinging to me. That alone feels impossible. The kangaroo turns its head once more toward the burned forest, then back toward us. There is no hesitation now, no urgency, only awareness. It takes a step back, then another. Finally, it turns and moves away across the blackened earth, disappearing into smoke and heat that it understands far better than I ever will. I do not follow. I do not call out. I stay where I am, holding the child, watching the fire retreat just enough to mean survival. The outback smolders, the road remains, and against everything the flames tried to take, we are still here.